A very warm welcome to you. Many thanks for joining us again on Almond Finance and Wealth Reports this week. As you know, we are source for latest happening information in the financial sector of the nation's economy. Many thanks also to our newest partner on this program, Standard Alliance Life Assurance Limited, one of the frontline life underwriting companies in Nigeria. My name is Faith Wade. On this edition of the program, we bring you highlights of the 40th African Insurance Organization Conference and General Assembly that took place recently in Cairo, Egypt. The theme of the conference this year was the role of the African insurance industry to support the economic development of African countries. The 3-day event ended with a superlative closing dinner and investiture ceremony of Mr. Abdel Rauf Kotob as the new president of the AIO in the next 1 year. These are more are what we have for you on our lineup this week, so I urge you as always to sit back, relax and enjoy it. But all the details are coming to you in just a moment. Please stay with us.
Almond Finance and Wealth Report is incisive.
But I want to tell you, the industry must be woken today from slumber. The industry has slept enough. Oversleeping may bring obesity.
We cannot continue with this path any longer. There must be a change of attitude and behavior amongst practitioners. We cannot continue the same thing all the time and expect a different result.
It's across borders.
Let us bear in mind that although the insurance industry in Africa is saddled by many challenges, these challenges for sure are not insurmountable at all.
It's socializing. Join Faith and Wade every week on this station.
Every time the rain.
The theme of the African Insurance Organization Conference is carefully chosen each year to reflect the direction of insurance practitioners on the continent. The 40th edition with the theme The Role of the African Insurance Industry to Support the Economic Development of African Countries in Cairo, Egypt, provided yet another platform for insurers on the continent to brainstorm on how the industry can support economic activities on the continent. In attendance were over 600 delegates from more than 60 countries across the globe. The special guest of honor was the Prime Minister of Egypt, Dr. Hisham Andel. Welcoming delegates to the opening session of the conference, the Chairman Local Organizing Committee, Mr. Abdel Rauf Kotob, said that Africa faces many domestic risks such as youth unemployment, political upheaval and severe weather. The insurance and reinsurance industry must therefore ensure that these risks are properly identified and managed.
We have much reason to be optimistic, but let us not underestimate the challenges we face. Our continent continues to depend on external demand, making us susceptible to global economic slowdowns, particularly in China and the Eurozone. Furthermore, Africa faces many domestic risks such as youth unemployment, political upheavals, low insurance penetration, and severe weather, just to mention a few. The insurance and reinsurance industry has a critical role to play to ensure that these risks are properly identified and managed in order to ensure the sustainable development of our countries. And this conference aims at creating a solid platform for the discussions and the sharing of knowledge to achieve the goal. Ladies and gentlemen, no effort has been spared to ensure the success of the conference. We have a distinguished panel of speakers who will address a number of key and relevant issues, and I encourage you all to actively engage and challenge our speakers. And the organizing committee has facilitated the side meetings between the delegates. We are also very much aware of the historical and the cultural attractions of our great city, Cairo, and the urge many of you will have to explore it. And I hope you will take advantage of our tours. Members of the organizing committee will be at your disposal throughout the conference, and please don't hesitate to approach them for any request. Finally, I would like to convey a special thanks to His Excellency Prime Minister, Dr. Hisham Andi, for joining us, and to the Minister of Investment, and to many thanks also to the organizing committee for their tireless effort.
Declaring the conference open, the Prime Minister of Egypt, Dr. Asham Andel, explained some of the transformation that is taking place in Egypt politically and economically.
We have gone historical times. When African brothers and sisters were screaming for liberation, everybody knows that Egypt decided at that time to stay on their side and to support them to get their freedom and to reclaim their countries from the colonial period. Now that I think it was partnership, we're ready to stand with our brothers and sisters in Africa in this economic growth, in this journey for fighting poverty and for attaining sustainable development. Well, this is Egypt. We hear about it. We hear about it in the news. It is passing through difficult times. It is passing through challenging times. It is passing through a transition period. This is a natural transitional period. The fact that the challenges that we're facing in this country, which will definitely overcome in a relatively short period of time, we'll get out of it, and we get out of it and strong. To fight corruption, to have inclusive growth, to ensure that inequality is being eliminated, to ensure that there is stability, there is transparency, there is fighting corruption. These are the cross-cutting issues that we are all working along to ensure that we get out of this period much stronger than before. And we want to do that together with you and the African countries. We want to do this with our brothers and sisters in the Arab countries. We want to do that with our brothers and sisters in the rest of the world.
With the opening formalities over, delegates settled down for serious deliberations on sub-themes of the conference. The first, investments and portfolio management for the African insurance industry, was chaired by Mr. Bassel El Hini of Misr Life Insurance Company of Egypt. Speaker was Mr. Matthias Hendinga of the International Finance Corporation USA. The second session topic was turning challenges and needs in healthcare and health insurance into real profit drivers. Speaker was Dr. Seg F. Hazome of NSIA Group, Benin. The third session focused on reinsurance industry challenges in Africa. Speakers were Mr. Albert Nduna of Zimre Holdings Limited, Zimbabwe, and Mr. Muhammad Akob, Hanover Ray Tekaful, Bahrain. Chairman of session was Mr. Jean-Baptiste Kaome of Sikare, Togo. In his presentation, Mr. Nduna stated that African reinsurers must position themselves with improved capacity in order to support development on the continent.
African Reinsurers Association should be strengthened and be dynamic. Conclusion. Africa is clearly one of the regions where prospects for the growth of the insurance industry are very high. The value of insurable assets is growing as the resurgence in economic activity gains momentum. Population is growing. We should be insured and reinsured. Competition for business is also expected to rise as the number of players seeking business in Africa increases. African reinsurers are expected to position themselves through increased capacity and enhanced skills in order to take advantage of these opportunities. Reinsurers in Africa are expected to face new challenges, and as the new challenges in the uncharted territory, there will be losses too. African reinsurer must face the challenge head-on and first look for internal solutions within your company, within your country, and continent at large. The focus should be the pooling of resources in order to enhance capacity in Africa, regular exchanges of information and expertise, development of reinsurance relations. They say business is about relationships. In insurance, business must be responsive to the broader needs of societies and make a positive contribution to the economic development of the continent. The future is bright for the African reinsurers, and they must be positioned to reap the rewards of a booming African economy. The time is coming when African reinsurers must stand shoulder to shoulder with those in the advanced economies. Other continents have demonstrated that it's possible, and so it's possible for the African continent.
The third session of the conference focused on policy risk insurance for renewable energy applications in Africa. Speaker was Mr. Ernest Rauch of Munich Re, Germany. Chairman of session was Mr. Corneliu Karekezi, Managing Director, Africa Re. In his presentations, Mr. Rauch said that given population growth projections for most African countries, there is need to look at renewable energy as an alternative source of generating electricity.
You see, Germany has an annual electricity demand somewhere in the order of 578 terawatt hours. And if you go down to the Maghreb region, that's on the very bottom here of these bars, that's only in the order of 90 terawatts. That's currently the demand, and the changes expected over the next decades are huge, huge. This region, if population developments as anticipates, if the economy develops as anticipates, this region will be a major consumer of electricity, and in order to supply this demand, there has to be a switch sooner or later from fossil energies to renewable energies. And I also like this picture this morning, which was made that by importing fossil fuels, for instance, coal, oil, or gas, you actually export jobs. And here, with these technologies, with this idea, with this concept, switching over to renewable energies, you can turn this around and you have a good to export, in this case, within the region or towards Europe, which you can sell, and this natural resource will never end. It's not a resource which you exploit and then it's gone. What are the national targets? There are already ambitious targets in this region, and being here with the host of this conference in Egypt, I just would like to draw your attention on this bar of here in Egypt. That's this one here. There are ambitious political targets which are still not formulated into national bills or legislation, but the targets are ambitious, and you see with the colors, Egypt goes very much into wind, and this is indeed, from an economic perspective, the best Egypt can do. Solar technologies will play a role as well, but wind for the time being, as you have excellent wind sites, is the cheapest way of generating electricity and supporting your people.
There was also a presentation on the landscape of microinsurance in Africa, a review of status and progress by the team from Making Finance Work for Africa. According to Claudia Hoba, microinsurance has grown by 200% on the continent since 2008, when the first study was conducted.
The microinsurance sector in Africa has grown tremendously. It has grown by 200%. That is, it has actually tripled between 2008, when the earlier study was done, and 2011. Let me clarify that when we talk about growth in coverage here, we talk about the number of lives or properties covered by a microinsurance policy in a country. The number of lives or properties covered. We do not, as you might be more used to, and as actually the chairman of the session asked me about when we recently met, we do not talk about insurance penetration as defined by premium over GDP, or about growth in premium. What we concentrate on here is outreach. It's the number of people that are covered by insurance, by microinsurance. The second key finding of the study is around coverage. The research has shown that microinsurance products and services cover approximately 44.4 million lives and properties on the African continent. In other words, 4.4% of the continent's population is covered with at least one type of microinsurance policy, be it a life, a credit life, or even a health insurance policy. This number clearly shows that there is a huge potential for expansion of innovative microinsurance products adapted to the needs and characteristics of the low-income population. Third, microinsurance is concentrated in terms of products. Almost 3/4 of people covered by any microinsurance product are covered by a life product, meaning that almost 34 million Africans bought some type of life insurance product. The traditional African life insurance industry generated about $46 billion in premium in 2011. It is interesting to note, and it will give you some comparison, that the premium generated by micro-life and micro-credit life products, which cover about 40 million people in total, this premium amounts to approximately 1% of the premium generated by the traditional life insurance industry here in Africa.
With the presentations over, it was time for the closing ceremony and gala dinner. Delegates to the AIO each year usually look forward to the closing dinner, reasons being that at the closing dinner each year, there is a change of baton of the leadership of the organization. This year was no exception, as delegates and well-wishers witnessed the investiture of Mr. Abdelrauf Kotob.
I wish you a more successful tenure. Congratulations.
In his acceptance speech, Mr. Kotob said he is relying on the support and cooperation of members of the AIO to succeed.
On behalf of the Insurance Federation of Egypt and the Egyptian insurance market, I would like to thank all of you for being part of this important event and sharing with us the activities of this conference during the last 3 days. It has been an honor for the Egyptian insurance market to host this event and to receive such an amazing support and participation from all of you. It gives me great pleasure to to be the new president of the AIO. I know that the responsibility I am now shouldering is really immense. So I ask God to help me to perform my duties and responsibilities to your satisfaction. There is no doubt that the AIO plays an important role in developing the insurance and the insurance industry in the African countries. And of course, with your efforts and support, I believe that we can continue this important role and to continue to grow from strength to strength.
The task of overseeing the African Insurance Organization is not an easy one. As such, anyone ascending the highest office of his presidency must be ready to shuttle between his home country and Cameroon, which heads the secretariat of the AIO. No doubt, the 40th African Insurance Organization and General Assembly was a huge success, as delegates gave kudos to the local organizing committee and Ms. Prisca Suarez, the Secretary General of the organization, and her team for a job well done. The stage is now set for the 41st edition, which will be hosted in Rwanda. The agenda of the African Insurance Organization remains the same. They are to increase business exchange among members, strengthen relationship, and also explore new areas that will improve acceptance of insurance on the continent. Alright, that's the time on this edition of the program. I do hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Many thanks to our newest partner on this program, Standard Alliance Life Assurance Limited. Like we always say here, for comments, questions, observations, do feel free to get in touch with us on 017763981 or 08033357879, or better still, send us an email, almond4xx@yahoo.com or almondproduction@gmail.com. You can also visit us on our website, www.almondreports.com. Do not forget also to join us every Wednesday by 9:45 a.m. on Niger FM 102.7 for our Pidgin English program called Waiting Insurance, They Do Safe. My name is Faith Uwade. Until same time, same station next week, where we'll come your way with a fresh package of this program. From all of us here, is goodbye.